So in this session, we'll discuss about attachment functionality in OAF, as well as invoking a concurrent program. Okay. So let's see. So here, let us run the page first. Okay. Then.
Yeah.
This was the table, right? Of course, there are other tables involved, but this is a document table. It's the standard document table. Okay. So now what I want to do is here, let us say when we come to the page in the update mode or create mode, let's say in the update mode. Now in the header level, I want to have an attachment, as well as similarly, I want to have attachment at the line level. Okay. So we'll have a separate bean for each set of thing. Let's start with the header level attachment. Like somewhere here we'll provide the attachment icon. Similarly, in the last column of the line, we'll provide the attachment icon in the line level. So let's go to details.
Is it going to store in a database table or like a log table here only?
In
Standard table.
FND table only, FND log table
table.
only. That's a standard functionality. Okay. If we need to have a custom table, then we need to write good amount of Java code for that. But without writing any code, with just a simple way, the best way is using the standard functionality.
Okay.
So in the header update data region, so here after vendor site code, okay. So I'll just create a new icon. Yeah, so here if you observe, right, we don't have that particular functionality. I mean to say, like we cannot add up that one here, that icon, that particular item we cannot add up here. Okay. So now what I'll do is in the header region, I'll just create a new item. Okay. I'll just change that to, okay, can you see here? We have two things, attachment link as well as attachment table. Okay. So take attachment link. So I'll just say header attach link ID. Okay. Now what we have done, we just added an item. The style is attachment link. And here if you observe, whenever we added that one, right, automatically it created a child item below it. It just created a child item below it. And it is called entity map, right? So as per the standard functionality, any document is always will have a entity category and the primary key. Any document you take in the Fusion, I mean, what do you call the from the EBS, every document will have a category as well as the entity, right? So here, if you observe, right, FND document entities table, FND document, yeah, this one, entities. So entity is nothing but generally they have a table name. So here, if you observe, right, database object table name, mostly they will always have a table name. Okay. So now in our case, what we do now is, so header attachment link, first of all, here if you observe, so let us see what properties we have to change. So attach the view instance. So in which table, in which particular EO we have to refer to, PO header EO Vivo1. Prompt is okay, link text is view, and the remaining stuff, okay. That's it. That's the only function. That is the only thing we have to attach here. Coming to the entity map, okay. Right click on the entity map, click on new. So in the entity map, we have to provide two functionalities. One is primary key, and other one is we have to mention the category. So whenever we attach any document, we need to mention the category. So in our case, as of now, I'll just mention a category called MISC, miscellaneous. Attachment will always have a category. So once we see in the UI, we can understand that. As of now, I'll just mention the category as MISC. And a primary key, what we need to do is now here, for each PO, we know that the unique key is the PO header ID or maybe PO number. Best thing is attach the PO header ID, okay, which we are considering it as a unique attribute in our case. So category map I have done to MISC, primary key I have done to PO header ID, okay. And in the entity map, we need to mention a entity here. So I'll just mention XXPO headers. If it is not there, it will create it. Okay.
Entity is any name. It is not the table name.
It can be any name. It can be any name. It should work. Else we have to consider that, but it should work. So entity, primary key, and category. Three things we have to work on. We have to change. Okay. We have to update. I mean. So now let's run it.
We are the independent one. This is no database. This is not specific to this table, correct?
Yes. Whatever the things which you have mentioned. No, here if you observe, right, what all we mentioned. 1 minute. Where are we?
Here.
In the header, we have updated to the view instance. In the entity map, we mention the entity name. It can be anything. Generally, we mention the table name. Primary key, I have to mention PO header ID because when the attachment gets stored in the database, we are linking with the entity as well as primary key. And the category can be anything. Any available category you can mention.
Okay, fine.
Let's run the page. Search, update. Right. So it says attachments and none, add. These all things are default functionality. It's a standard functionality. Okay. I'll just click on add now. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, we got some exception. Let's see what it says. Null pointer. Okay. There is somewhere it is referring to null pointer. I think we missed some attribute. Let's see that. PO details page. Header attribute, new instance we have done. Link text render, it is fine. No issue here. Entity map level, only thing is we just need to mention entity. So insert allowed is true, update allowed is to true, delete allowed is to true, show all is okay, fine. Primary key we have attached. Category, yeah, we have attached. Then what is the issue? Let's try again. That primary key should not be null. It should not be null, right? Because it is already having the value.
It's already not null.
Yeah. Let's try create then. Just see how it works. Let's say I'll just say 0021T. I'll save it first. I'll click on add.
None is coming. None. We did not mention anything. No, none default. The text is in none.
It's a default functionality. Like it says you don't have attachment. It means.
Okay.
Something is there here if you observe, right? Not allowed. Warning document is not allowed to reference to OA dialog page as its scope. It's too restrictive. Why? Okay. It's because of some issue. Accessing file system for this one, it says a document is unable to refer. Maybe because of the region style or what? It is at this level, right? Let me create new header region. Under this header region, I'm assigning it as a child. Let's try. If not, yeah, that should work. I mean, that's a standard functionality, but I'll click on update, add. Yeah, can you see?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get word issues. Okay.
So it is the standard functionality on this one.
This total page is standard page.
Okay. Desktop.
We have what we have done. We just added only one item, right? Everything is coming by default. So you have a different item, I mean, attachment types. Now let's say I'll start with file type. Don't have documents. Okay, let's say I'll upload this one. Apply. Can you see here? It says attachment has been successfully added but not committed. Okay, it would be committed when you commit the rest of the transaction. I'll just click on save. At this point, we need to have attachment, okay, in the database. Check out in the FND documents table. We should see that document. Can you see the 17th July latest record?
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, we are not seeing all the information, but we can get everything. I'll try again.
Is also one more record stores in the document entities also.
Yeah, correct question. See here, if you observe FND document entities, order by creation date. Okay, it has to store, right? It has to store.
Document entity ID is
where entity, right? Where is entity? Which entity it is? Okay. I think there is another one. I'll show you. FND entities. Yes. Okay. It has to create, else you cannot identify, right?
this table.
It's not showing here, but somehow it has to refer. Okay. Maybe here, if you observe documents, category will have it for sure. Category ID, FND document categories. And what is the other thing? Yeah, file name is OAF readme text. That is what we have attached.
Is that one more log no? Something yesterday? Other day,
FND logs. Yes, FND logs. Here you'll have the file. Okay, the actual content. You can just refer to. We need to join both the document table and logs table if at all. If you have an attachment of this one. Okay, you don't have another one. This one. Creation date is correct. No, it is image source. Yeah, this one. Can you see? OAF. This is what I loaded. 17 July.
Yeah, this is actual file stores in this table.
Yes, ordered by upload date. We have a column called upload date descending, and program name FND attach. That's what it is showing.
Yeah.
But definitely there is some reference. There will be some reference, and here in the document table also, right? Somewhere it will store the what do you call your particular PO header ID. It has to store that, else it cannot get that, right?
Oh yeah, linkage.
Linkage will be there.
Primary key.
Yeah, it will be there somewhere. Okay.
Whatever the primary key we mentioned, right? That stores here, right?
Yes, it has to store. Yes. Now I'll add up one more attachment. And let's say this time, yeah, I'll just store one nodes. Let us say query. OAF query SQL script. Apply. Save it. Right. There is that. Upload date descending. Okay, got it?
Yeah, query.
These two things. Now, so here if you observe, right? So now it got attached. When you click on view attach, it has to show the set of documents which were attached, right? So this retrieval happens based on the PO header ID only, isn't it? Okay, I'll just click on return to. Now let us say I'll click on cancel. Now if you just search for another attachment, let us say if you check for another attachment, other particular PO, it should not show those set of documents because they are linked based on the PO header ID. Click. Okay. Now this is the attachment link functionality. This is an attachment link functionality.
You can say, now suppose if we want to retrieve the document, same document, download. What did you say?
You can download. You can download, right? You can just click on view attachment. You have somewhere. You can just, if you just click on this, right, it'll download. That's it. Hyperlink is for download.
Save as okay.
Say that's it. Yeah. And now here, if you observe one more thing, right? So here in the update when you're coming in the update mode or create mode, we are showing. But let us say we have to show the documents in the when I come in the view mode also, right? When I come in the view mode, now I just come in the view mode, but we are not showing that. But we have to show it. So now to show the information in the view mode, what you can do is
what is the difference we did to first initially did not work, right? What you did after that? You changed the region style.
Yeah, what I have done was, see, like it's, like here, if you observe, right, I created another header region. Under it, I provided it. So maybe the requirement is it has to be under a header region, then only it will work.
Okay. Header region.
Yeah. So attachment header region. Okay. Now, so what I'll do is, so I'll just copy the same header attachment header region, and in the header data view region, right, I'll just paste it. And now here in this, when I'm coming in the view mode, what I have to do, I just want to show everything in the read only stuff, right? So if you remember, we have seen one functionality, right? Insert allowed, false. Update allowed, false. False. That's it. Remaining everything is same.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's search. Just click on view mode. Okay, so click on view attach. Can you see there is no add link at all, isn't it? There is no add link at all. When I just hover on the link, it shows the stuff. You can click on them and you can download, or you can just click on hyperlink. Still, it will go to another page where you can just download and you can come back. Okay, it's just for the purpose of read only. And also here, if you observe, right, everything is disabled. Update, delete, add, everything is disabled. That's a standard functionality only. We have not done anything. Only thing is we have changed the property. We have changed the property at which level? So here, if you observe in the PO details, we have changed the property at the entity map level, not entity. Yeah, entity map level. We have kept everything to false. Insert allowed, update allowed, delete allowed to false, so that we're able to see the attachments in the view mode. Okay. Now, next functionality we want to do is like a similar functionality at the table level. Okay. So what we have done was attachment link. There is another bean. Let's see that. So in this one, the table region, I'll just click on new item, and I'll change the item style to attachment image. Okay. When you are working with a table region, the only way you can do is you need to use attachment image. Okay. This all standard functionalities. Okay. I'll say LAN attachment ID and view instance. Provide the line stuff, XX, PO, lines, EVO, VO1, and similarly mention the entity map, XX, PO lines. So this of no relevance, just some kind of key we have to mention. Yeah. And here we need to create two things, primary key, as well as we need to create a category map. In the primary key, we need to mention
line ID, line ID.
Yeah, PO line ID, category map. You just need to mention the available category in your instance. So I'm going with MIC, which is a default category, which is already always available. And in the entity map, yeah, it is everything is true, right? And show all is not required, I guess. Okay. But yeah, I can just click that. So yeah, line attachment, what we have done, first of all, at the attachment image level, we have mentioned the instance, and the entity map level, we have mentioned the entity name, which can be any user defined name. Next one is the primary key, which should be available in your particular table, what you call the Vivo, which we are linking for the table. That particular primary key you have to mention of that particular Vivo instance. Category map, any available category can mention. Okay. Now we can just run the page. Okay, search it, update. Okay, now this is the attachment icon, the plus symbol and the other one, right? That's a default functionality. Here, if you observe, right, there are two ways you can do it. Either you can just click on this one where it opens a pop-up. If you just click on this, right, if you just hover on it, it will open a pop-up. This is one way. Or let us say you can just click on, add icon. Okay, still it is showing here itself, right? No, it has to go here. Okay, now we got one exception. Pointer, yeah, similar exception, we got it again. Similar exception, we got it. Details page attachment link. And, we cannot have any region here, right? We cannot have any region. Let me try again. But these are the parameters. If you observe, right, like only those parameters we have to mention.
Table we cannot create the region, right? Header you created like that. We cannot create in the table.
Table, yeah, it shows only items. Regions we cannot create in the table. Let's see. Now it works, or I think it will not work. Update. I'll just add, let me try this way. What I'll do is I'll just say file and category. Okay, let it be anything. Let me try URL as of now. Let's say XX sample URL HTTPS. Okay, I'll just click on apply. It committed. Okay, I'll save it. Now go to the database. Yeah, can you see third record also on 17th July?
Yeah.
Right. We may not have file name here, right? Yeah, URL we have it, correct? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attachment. Can we try the attachment? No?
Yeah, it should work. File. I'll click on browse. Let's say XX 3rd July notes. Okay. Right, fourth record.
Yeah.
Right, this is also one.
Look and feel, why the difference header and this one? Header and this one, look and feel.
See,
Header
no, the basic reason is very simple. In the header level, for each header you want single record, but for now lines, let us say if I click on a new line, I need to have one more attachment icon, right? That's a different.
Okay.
So that's a functionality. Only exception what I understand is when I click on here, it is going exception. I think, yeah, see, it is going exception. Some standard functionality is missing, or maybe some version incompatibility or something like that.
When you click on the plus mark, it is giving error. Plus mark or other one.
When I click on it, it is going error. When I click on this, right, it is going error. Maybe some sort of dependent file is missing, like a file or something is missing. Accessing file, right? This file, this particular standard page is missing in this particular instance. So it could be the patch issue or something. Okay. Yeah. So this is all the standard, like attachment functionality. Okay. Now, next thing what I want to do is like there are couple of things I want to cover, but in this today's session, right, we'll just see how do we invoke a concurrent program. Okay. So what we can do is we can just design a dummy concurrent program. I mean, a PLSQL concurrent program, just 2 minutes. Okay. So then we'll try to invoke that from our OAF. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just say XXCUS sample CP. Okay. That's it. So now what I'll do is, so we want to achieve good amount of things from this one. What I want to do is, like as of now, so here, when in this particular one, right? Maybe in the search page, we can try to invoke it, or maybe let's say from search page, we'll try to invoke it. Okay. So for any of the PO, what I want to do is, let us say I want to generate outbound data using a concurrent program. Okay. What I want to do is, let us say for each PO, I'll provide a column. I'll just click on the submit program. So it has to generate a file in one of the FTP locations. So as of now, I have not implemented that logic. I just click submit. It will invoke a concurrent program. Only partial functionality we are implementing today, but later on we'll try to generate a file in one of the outbound location.
Okay.
Okay. So now, first of all, what we require in the PO search page, in the results region, I'll say new column, new sortable header, new submit button. So I'll just say generate file button. Okay, which has to generate file, or maybe, sorry, instead of that, I'll say invoke CP button. Okay. Now, so this, yeah, okay, fine. Now sortable header. Generate outbound data. I'll just mention like this as of now. Generate OB call. Okay, so now it is a submit button, right? So now here, if you observe, we need to get the same functionality what we have done earlier. So we need to get the current PO header ID, isn't it? We need to get the current PO header ID which user is clicking on. So we just need to get that. So fire action, and I'll say invoke CP event. Okay.
Yeah.
And we need to get our Vivo instance name, right? So just say and similarly get the Vivo header ID. So we can just see what we have done for the Vivo view event. Similar thing, we can do it, right? Same thing. Client action, create fire action. Not sorry, here. Concurrent program, invoke concurrent program. Let us follow some same naming convention which we have followed earlier. I think that's better, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'll just say PO invoke CP event. Okay. And this one XX keyword ID for CP. And okay, event name is PO event CP event, and the parameter is XXPO header ID for CP. Okay, this is our event name now. So in the search page, now go to search CO. Go to search CO. So I'll just copy this logic as of now. Right, and what is our event name? PO invoke CP event, and this is a parameter logic, right?
Yeah.
Now, so this is how we can get the current selected PO header ID. But how do we invoke the concurrent program, right? how do you invoke the concurrent program? So as of now, we have just created a procedure, right? We have not defined the concurrent program. We have to finish that also. So
Yeah.
let's finish that.
Procedure, we have to give the parameter as well, right?
Yeah, we can provide that parameter also. Yeah, that's correct. We'll do that. So now what I'll do is, yeah, so here I'll say p underscore, what is the name? Pivot header ID. Okay.
In concurrent program also, we have to get on parameter, one parameter.
Yeah. Right. I added a parameter here. So this one, concurrent executable. Right. Now concurrent program. So here I'll just mention this one. I'll say XXC sample CP. Same thing I'll mention. And parameter. Okay. Yeah, I'm just assigned to the
Request.
yeah request group. Okay. Just see whether it works or not, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It should work anyway. Now, so here, what we do is like we'll design the logic to invoke the concurrent program. Okay, so let me get that standard code. So here, this one. So I'm creating a new procedure here. Okay, sorry, new method in the Java. Instead of having the everything in the same what do you call same method, I'm creating a new method here. Okay. Is it referred to which Java? Okay, that's where the issue is. JBO domain dot number. Okay. Okay. So now let's see. Yep, it got completed. View output. Okay, we got the pivot right?
Yeah.
So now what we do is like from the Java. So here what I've done is I'll just tell you what exactly I've done here. So this is like the set of code. Okay, let me fix this issue. Concurrent request, why it is not showing? Okay. Vector. I think it should be because of vector, I guess. 1 minute. Java vector. Sometimes, yeah, here if you observe it, this vector is available in 2 APIs. So this is an old one. In our case, we have to use this vector. Okay, that is why it was giving issue. Okay, so in this particular method right here, if you observe, I'm passing 2 parameters. One is page context and other is webbean. I need to pass a PO header ID also. I'll tell you why are we doing all this stuff. And get the application module, get the DB transaction. And now this particular thing, yeah. So get the DB transaction, then, like I'm creating a DB connection and there is a API called concurrent request. So similarly, when you want to invoke a concurrent program from the PLSQL, you have a set of API, right? FND concurrent request API. Similarly, in the Java, we have an API called concurrent request. We just need to create a concurrent request based on a connection, and it requires set of parameters. Now here, if you observe the concurrent program application name, the concurrent program short name, right? The concurrent program short name. In our case, what was the short name? Concurrent program. So here, whatever you have these details you have to mention properly. First one is application short name, that is FND in our case. This is our concurrent program short name, and this is just a description, right? So I'll just say, yeah, invoking from PO details, PO search page. This is not mandatory, but just for our reference to understand, this got invoked from the OAF. So
that's application that is also standard one. OAF application module. First
yeah.
one.
Yes.
That is also standard one, right? Yeah, we don't have.
Yes. Okay. Now these are the parameters, and now we need to, if your concurrent program is having parameters, we have to send them in a vector. So here, yeah. So if you want to send the arguments to the concurrent program, we have to send them in a vector arguments. Here, if you observe, right, why are we sending in the vector arguments? The basic reason is it all depends upon how Oracle has designed. Oracle has designed a method. It says I need the parameters in this fashion, so we have to pass in that fashion only, right? There is no option for us. Okay. So now, yeah, there is some error here. I think it's because of this parenthesis. Okay, got the idea. So application short name, invoice number.
Might be we are not using anywhere, right?
Yeah, 1 minute. Where are the arguments? This is a concurrent program arguments. I am passing the add element, PO header ID str. So PO header ID str it will not take. So we need to pass them in this. I mean, yeah, maybe if you want to pass in the string, we can pass it. Let us say I want to pass them in a number fashion. So what I'll do is PO header ID num, I'll pass like this. Okay. If you want to pass any string, we can pass them. Okay. So when we'll get the request ID, and I need to mention the commit, and we are returning a request ID from this particular method. So now this method, right, this submit CP request, I will call from here in the event function in this one. So I'll just say int request ID is equal to this one, page context webbean, comma, PO header ID str, and then I'll display throw new exception submitted concurrent program request ID information. Okay. So what are we doing? Why are we creating a new method? Okay, let me finish. What is error here? It's PLSQL. Fine. So what are we doing here is the basic reason of creating a new method here is just a readability purpose. We can add up everything here itself within the else block. Whenever you have some set of functionality which is totally independent, it is always better to write them as an independent method. Okay, so that's the only reason. It's only for readability purpose or maintaining the code purpose. So I'm passing these parameters, page context, webbean, as well as PO header ID, and then we are calling the concurrent request API from the of the OAF one, where we require application short name, concurrent program short name and a description. And if at all, if you have any parameters, those should be in a vector arguments only. We created a vector argument array here, and we are adding the element here. And this vector arguments array here, if you observe this one, right? cr.submit request, concurrent request.submit request. It is having the application name, concurrent program short name, description, and the last one is the arguments. Okay, and then commit it. You'll get the request ID. This request ID I'm passing to the. I mean here this is the. In this method I'm returning. I'm having an in parameter as a return parameter, right? So I'm just returning to the other the main method from where I'm calling, and there I am displaying the exception information, right? Like using OA exception and displaying the request ID details. Okay.
Okay.
Let's try Vivo search page. And one more important thing is when you are submitting this request, right? So whatever the responsibility which you mention in your OAF project properties, that has to match. Then only it will work, isn't it?
OAF, very OAF.
The default project properties, right? That has to match. Then only it will work, isn't it?
Okay, default.
Yeah. Now, yeah, okay. Well, maybe the name was missing for this one. That's why it is not showing the name. But anyway, still it has to work. Okay, it says domain number cannot be cast to string. Okay, some exception there. Let's see. View search page, invoke CP button. First of all, give a prompt for this one. I'll say generate POB and just see where is the issue. Submit SQL request. It was header ID in our case. We are getting a string. If it is not accepting the number, let me pause the string. Okay, as of now, let's see if that is the issue. I'll print the number also. View header ID. We'll click on search. Let's say generate OB button, OP pivot data. Okay, it got submitted just because of the string to number conversion issue. So now the request ID it says is 67, which is ending. Just see here whether you have that request ID or not. Can you see 67 and the parameter is 13, right? The same pivot header ID which was passed. We can try for the other one. Let's say I'll try for the 20th. I'll click here. You can see here the 20th parameter. Okay, so this is how we can submit a concurrent program from the OAF, right? So later on, what we have to do is this particular logic, right? We can implement that logic. So we just provided a placeholder here. We can just design the util file outbound logic based on the pivot ID, and we can just write the file to a particular location, right? That is what the outbound data. So in the next session, what we do is like we'll design a workflow, which will be workflow approval logic, and also we'll design one more important report where we display the report. As of now, this is just a concurrent program. Next session we'll discuss about workflow, as well as we'll discuss about one XML report where we embed the report output. So now when the user clicks on generate report, we'll just try to navigate to another page where we display the embedded PDF report. Okay, that we'll discuss in the next session.
Okay.